Okay, so welcome back. This is the third video of showing you some of the apps that I use on my phone for my photography. And the third app I'm going to share with you today is an app called Avg Cam Pro, and it's your third app across on the top there. The sort of slightly pastel-y coloured purple, green, black lens. So I'm just going to click on that and we're going to go in and have a look at this. Okay, so what Avg Cam Pro does, it's really good for multiple exposures, okay, in camera all at once. So I use it if I want to create a multiple exposure of, say, an object somewhere, something at the time. So what you want to do is go into settings to start with. All right, and in settings you have several options. You have number of pictures, so you can go anywhere from 1 picture to 128 pictures. You can have a shooting interval of anywhere between 0 seconds and 30 seconds between images. This is really useful if you're doing something like a pet ventosa or an in the round kind of photography where you want to move between images, because what this doesn't do, this does not stop. Once it starts going, you have to keep moving with it and it will continue to keep taking the images until you're finished. So if you're moving around a tree, you need to give yourself long enough to run to the next place or walk. And then you have a pre-starter timer, which after you've pressed the image, your shutter on the camera, then you have that much time to get your first image set up. So I'm just going to start with 2 pictures, just for a very simple multiple exposure, and I'm going to have, say, a 3-second shooting interval. Okay, I've got a few things just here today. I've got some grasses, I've got this lovely piece of wood, and I've got my curtains, and I'm just going to show you here a couple things. One thing that I don't like about this app is that you can't zoom in on this app, so you are kind of stuck with you have to move your feet, which is not the end of the world, but when you're in a big location, for example, if I was shooting out the window today, I can't zoom in on the trees. That is the frame I'm getting when I'm shooting. I don't have the option to zoom in and play. I've actually got to move my feet to get there. So that's the one negative I find about this app. So you can see down at the bottom, there's a little blue camera, and as soon as you tap that, you start the picture. So we've got two photos on top of each other. I'm going to use one of the grasses and one of the wooden here. We've got 3 seconds between photos, okay? So we don't have a massive amount of time, but we have got 4 seconds to set up. So you can see it counting down, and you see the first picture, you move, and it takes the second picture. Now, I only had 3 seconds in between that, so that wasn't long at all. Again, a bit like some of the other apps, you can just press save, and it will save to your photo library. Okay, press the cross to get out of that. Again, we're just going to go into settings, and I'm just going to show you 8 pictures. And I'm just going to show you something on, I think probably my floor's quite a good place because it's got lines, and this is quite fun to do. So we've got 3 seconds in between each photo to move. Okay, so we're going to press it. And the great thing about this is that you can see what's happening. So 1. You can see it's counting them down. I've got 2 pictures. And you can see that it's counting them down. And if you're trying to keep something on a point, then you have it's quite nice because you have a place to work around. You will notice that as you take more and more, it becomes a little bit lighter, a little bit blurry. But so that's 8 pictures with me just moving around the lines on the floor. You can then play with this gain at the bottom. I don't do an awful lot with that, but anyway, let's save that there. Okay, one of which I did play with yesterday was some lights that I had, which were quite fun. Just get them on. Okay, so press the cross. Okay, so I've got some lights here on my thing, so we're going to have a play with these. And I'm actually going to change it back to 4, so we're going to have 4 pictures this time. And you'll see it's lovely because a bit like some of the other apps that I use, you can see it building up. So I'm going to take the first picture, and then I'm going to move it slightly, and then I'm going to move it slightly again, and I've got one more shot. Move it that way. You've got this lovely sort of bokeh effect. I mean, if you did lots and lots, you could create something quite fun here. So save that. Now, just in case you want to do a slightly longer distance between the two. Let's go with, I'm just going to have 10 seconds between two pictures, okay? And we're going to do the lights and we're going to do the grasses together, okay? So I've got time to move between the two. So let's go. Okay, we've got that running across, and then you just about have time to line it up here. There we go. And so you've got two pictures together there, which I think is quite fun. I use it sometimes for pet ventosa effect, which is where you walk around a subject. So you can take one picture, you move all the way around the object. And that's quite fun to do. Just make sure you give yourself enough time to do it. Make sure you give yourself enough space around the image to do it as well. If you have any questions, do drop them in the comments below. There is plenty more that you can go into and have a look at. You can have a play with the changing the exposure, the white balance, that kind of thing. I don't tend to. I just leave it, and I tend to enjoy using it just for doing sort of basic multiple exposures, things like that. So enjoy, and leave me any comments if you like, and I look forward to speaking to you soon.